Hey, I just finished The Sickness Unto Death today, so I thought I'd film up and tell you about it. I didn't really like the second half as much. I think I disagree with a lot of Kierkegaard's big pictures, though he does have some things that he says that I think are very insightful. But a lot of the times his big ideas I don't like. So I'm just going to read you some quotes that I enjoyed, tell you why I enjoyed them and stuff. Page 100 for me. He says, "Sin is not the unruliness of flesh and blood in itself, but the Spirit's consent to it." It's kind of an interesting way to put it. I've never heard that before, but I really like it. It's like, I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain why I like it so much, but I just think it's really a cool way to say that, for example, like lust. Lust is not a sin, but the fact that your soul allows you to lust is a sin. And that's just a really cool thing. I've never heard that before, but I really liked it. I also like the way he said the best advice course would be to simply tell them that the real reason why people are offended by Christianity is that it is too elevated. It wants to make man into something so extraordinary that he cannot grasp the thought of it. A lot of people think that Christianity is really kind of dark and depressing. It's basically like, love Jesus or you go to hell. And I mean, that's kind of true, but that's like what Christianity is saying. It says that Jesus is the true way, but Christianity really can make you, the point of it is that it will make you into something greater than you could ever think. And I think that the way Kierkegaard says it is actually quite accurate, that it kind of scares people. They just can't grasp the thought of that, and it offends them that something can make them so much better than they are. Later, he talks about how understanding sin affects if it's really sin, and he believes that sin is the lack of understanding, so you don't understand sin, and the reason that you sin is that you don't truly understand it. And at first I didn't believe that, because I was just thinking in terms of knowing something is wrong, and I definitely believe that you can know something is wrong and still do it, because people do it all the time. But then when I thought more about it, I realized that he wasn't talking about that. He was truly talking about completely understanding and comprehending it. My pastor one time said that God believes, or he looks at sin as the way that we feel when someone around us throws up. Like, we get that nasty smell and we get the gag reflex and we almost want to throw up. And he says that's the way God feels. And I think if we truly understood sin in the way that God understands sin, that's the way we would sin. That's the way we would feel. So that, yeah, we don't really understand sin, and that's why we do it, because if we really did, we wouldn't do it, because it's disgusting. He has a quote, in the deepest sense, the beginning in a state of sin is the sin. The particular sins are not the continuation of the sin. They are expressions of its continuation. And I thought that was kind of unique. He says something earlier about how every moment in which our sins are not being repented is just continuing the sin. It's not a new sin, it's just a continuation of the sin. So that, and every new sin is not a new sin. It's more a visible display of how our sins are continuing at all times, which is kind of, I think that's pretty true, because I think sin isn't just a thing, it's kind of like a state. And I think that we are in that state permanently, or at least until death. So I liked that. One thing I really liked was a pretty long passage, so I'm not going to read it, but it's basically saying about how if someone resists sin for a really long time and then they relapse, how they're like, oh, I'll never forgive myself. But that's kind of a ridiculous thing to say, because God will forgive you. And the fact that if God can forgive you and you can't forgive yourself is just kind of, it's stupid. We do it, it's pretty much a prideful thing, because we were so proud of resisting that temptation for such a long time. And then when we fail, it's kind of our pride saying, oh, I'm never going to forgive myself for breaking this streak because I'm too proud. But pride in itself is a sin. So it's kind of a ridiculous thing to say, because if God will forgive you and you can't forgive yourself, then you're an idiot, basically. This whole section about the sin of abandoning Christianity, positively of declaring it to be untruth. I really enjoyed this section about the differences between ignoring Christianity and saying Christianity is false. Let's see. It was just the whole chapter, it was a few pages long. I really liked it. There's nothing I can really just say about it, except that I just really enjoyed what he was saying about it. It's pretty much all in there. Yeah, like I said, I didn't have really much to say about that half, but I finished it. I don't know how many of you guys read it, but it was an interesting book to read. I don't agree with all of it, but I'm glad that I read it because now I can talk about it. Next book that we're reading is Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. This is a pretty fun share. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. The movie comes out in like 40-something days, and I want to reread the whole series. So I usually read the first few Harry Potters relatively quickly, so I think I'm just going to read them at my own pace and maybe post videos about them. I don't know. They're just so good. I love them. But yeah, the first one's probably just going to take me a few days. I don't know. But until next time, just start reading. Reading is a good thing to do. It's fun. Bye.